Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Final Fantasy VII walkthrough. We are going to head back into Rocket Town. We did make a little stop back at Fort Condor to take care of yet another one of the battles. But again, we've obviously already been to Rocket Town once and grabbed most of what we can for the time being. And let's head back into... actually, we have to head up to the rocket and check out what's going on here. Apparently, if I remember correctly here, Rufus will be arriving soon. And I believe we need to meet the chief, who, spoiler alert, is awesome. Alright, let's get crawling up this ladder already. There we go. Alright, so here he is. What are you guys doing here? Heard the captain was here. I'm the captain. Well, alright, so here he is. Cid himself. Cid is pretty awesome. I'm not going to... Or we'll gloss over the storyline stuff for the time being, just because I want to talk about Cid a little bit. I like his limit breaks. He's got a lot of... I mean, the thing is, he doesn't necessarily differentiate from, you know, a lot of the other characters in different ways. Frankly, you know, you can only do so much, I would say, in games like these as far as limit breaks go. But he does have one or two pretty interesting ones. He's got one called, I believe it's called Dragon, and I can't remember exactly. Actually, let me just check here. Shouldn't be giving out bad information, so let's make sure I've got the right stuff. Dragon, alright, so summons a dragon that attacks a single enemy for light damage and gains that enemy's current MP worth of MP and HP. So, interesting ability. It's based off of, actually, again, the enemy's MP. But he essentially converts that into HP and MP for himself. So, kind of an interesting limit break there. That one, I would say that's very different than, you know, a lot of the other characters. And then he's actually just got a lot of multi-hit limit breaks. So what I mean by that is they're either multi-target in that, you know, he'll throw out like one, I think, what does he have? Dynamite is his second limit break for his first level, and hits everything, you know, on the field for light damage. Now that's, you know, that's okay. But then you get into other things like hyper jump, which actually essentially is the same thing, to be honest. I mean, it does more damage, but it's just a multi-target attack. And then, so moving into like the tier 3 or level 3 limits, he's got a jump that it's kind of like a multi-jump. So I think he's got 6 hits, light damage each, and then Big Brawl is an 8-hit combo, apparently, that hits random enemies. So a 6-hit combo, 8-hit combo, and then his best, which is High Wind, 18 hits. So, you know, a lot of multi-hit abilities, which I feel like is pretty good. But all right, anyways. So Shinra is here, and actually, I think this is mostly a little bit of history behind Rocket Town. It's kind of, you know, why the rocket is here, why, or I should say, you know, what happened in the launch sequence, I guess you can call it, back in the day. Apparently, Cid's gonna go work on the tiny Bronco. The tiny Bronco being, we've actually already seen it in the backyard. There is it's actually a plane. Pretty interesting design, by the way. So She-Ra here apparently destroyed Cid's dream of making it into outer space. And here is a little history lesson on exactly what happened. Don't take so much time to checking the oxygen tank. So here she seems to be, anyway, a really good or thorough technician, whereas Cid, I don't know, he's seems really pushy. And I mean, frankly, there's a lot of times where Cid just feels like kind of a dick. Frankly, maybe rough around the edges is a better description of his personality. Leave it all to me. I'll be back in a few. Okay. Fly our dreams into outer space. Okay. So, anyway, so like we say earlier there, or saw earlier, I should say, She-Ra was checking the oxygen tanks. Apparently not happy with the results. And here, this is actually launch day, and obviously there being an error here. She-Ra is still down in the whatever room this is, checking the oxygen tanks, and she says that the results weren't up to snuff, or they weren't satisfactory. Wow, okay. So, willing to sacrifice her own life, essentially, for the mission here. You know, in order to ensure that these oxygen tank tests are satisfactory. Forget about her, we won't make it in time. So here he's got 30 seconds to make a decision. I assume a tank check would take a while, an oxygen tank check. And so here Cid's got to make the decision whether or not to abort the mission, or essentially kill She-Ra, because again, she is still down checking the oxygen tanks. And here you see the rocket fire up, and it appears that Cid cut the or canceled the launch, or aborted the launch, however you want to say that. But here I find it extremely unlikely that the rocket would tilt like that and yet remain upright, but whatever. I don't know all the information, I guess. So, alright, so he pushed the emergency engine shut-off switch, which I guess that's pretty obvious by now. I live my life for him. So, apparently she has resigned herself, essentially, to being Cid's slave, which seems so harsh. Hurry up and sit down, right? My hospitality good enough for you. Ugh, Palmer, gross. Long time no see. How you been? Well, if it ain't Fat Man Palmer. Oh, wow. So it's not looking like they've got a really good working relationship here. Wow. Yeah, so, don't forget the lard. Lard in tea? Is that a thing? Do people do that? I don't know anything about tea, so... It sounds super gross, though. Okay. Okay, so, Shira here obviously asking if the president is interested in restarting the space program. Got me all excited for nothing. Then what did you come here for? I want to borrow the tiny bar. Okay, so the president is not here to essentially revitalize Sid's dream. He just wants the tiny Bronco for whatever reason. Which, I don't know. It seems kind of strange. I assume Shinra has its own air transportation, but I guess maybe I'm wrong on that. Alright, so it sounds like Palmer wants to take it. And we are not having any of that. So like I said earlier, interesting design for this ship. It's pretty cool, or aircraft, I guess. Maybe ship isn't really a very good way to describe it. But anyways, alright, so let's take on Palmer here. Let's take on the overweight individual known as Palmer. He's not overly difficult. Alright. I'm gonna blast him with Beta a couple times. I think he's got something like 8,000 health. So not too bad. Not anything really to worry about. And I think that's it. Oh man, that guy's hilarious. Did he just take a turn to spank his own butt? That seems weird. Like, what are you doing? That is hilarious. And nice duck. And then, okay. What a weirdo. Ha! I forgot that. Wow, okay. So he just got hit by a Shinra truck. Completely forgot about that. Awesome. Okay. And there's the Eden coat. I actually kind of like the Eden coat for right now. It's an accessory, or sorry, it's armor. And I believe it's got 7 materia slots. Unfortunately, none of them are connected, and I don't think that the defensive capabilities are all that great with the Eden coat, but that's okay. I mean, I just like that it's got a lot of materia slots, so I'll end up, you know, putting that on and then equipping a bunch of materia. And that's, you know, again, just because I want to level up as much materia as I possibly can. And so, alright. Wow, apparently Sid can run really fast. But we're hit. The tiny Bronco is hit. Tail's been hit. Yep, okay. Emergency landing. Hold on to your jars and don't piss off. Well, if we end up in the water, does it really matter if we pee our pants? Just saying. Oh, that was a pretty decent landing. Borderline comfortable landing. She won't fly anymore. Can we use it as a boat? No, do whatever you want. How about your wife? Wife, don't make me laugh. Thinking about marrying her gives me the chills. Wow, dude, that's pretty rough. Seeing how she's essentially devoted her life to him. What are you guys gonna do? Run after a man named Sephiroth? Gotta get Rufus of this Shinra someday too. I don't know about any of that. But what the hell, sign me up. Alright, so Sid is basically just like F it at this point. He's all about it. Alright. Glad to be aboard, numbskulls. And a props. Even stupid enough to go up against Shinra nowadays has gotta be a numbskull. I like it. Alright, well that means he's a numbskull too, right? He's essentially saying that he's joining us. Alright, so where are we headed? Well, first we're going to head to Fort Condor. But yeah, apparently Sephiroth is going to the Temple of the Ancients. I've heard that name before. Well, have you now? Okay, so we now have control of the tiny Bronco. It's pretty interesting. It's essentially it's funny. Yeah, it looks like an airplane and everything, but you really can't go anywhere other than the shallow areas, and you can actually cross through the rivers as well. I'm not sure where I'm going here, but okay, because I'm not sure if I needed to go to the or to Cosmo Canyon. No, I don't think so. So I'm gonna take a cut here, actually. And actually, I'm just going to kind of fast forward right to the next Fort Condor battle. Yeah, so here we are. Essentially, I just took the tiny Bronco over to Fort Condor. You don't, and the good thing about having the tiny Bronco now is it really opens up the map. I actually kind of like how they did it in this game too. What I mean by that is they gradually open up the map a little by little, and you know, eventually we'll be able to explore everything. But for the time being, you can really only navigate to certain areas. Now here it looks like they finally let us use Tri-Stoners now. Again, once I get the Super Ball, and it might be after this battle. I don't remember. And then, if you notice there, I took a cut too. This is basically after I've defeated everything. I didn't really feel much use in leaving all of that. Okay, and then my my footage of Fort Condor there just completely ended. I have no idea what happened there. Okay, that is so weird. Anyways, I think that was my 7th victory. At least I'm fairly certain. And thus I got the Super Bowl for the defeat. Now, here is the Bone Village. Now, this is way up to the north, and you can navigate your way here with the tiny Bronco, and then you know, jump off the shore and then enter Bone Village. To be honest, there isn't a whole lot that you can do right now, but I came here to buy some of these pieces of armor. I think I went with the Diamond Bangles. Okay, so Diamond Bangles are 5-slot, Rune Armlets are 4-slot, but double. To be honest, those Rune Armlets are pretty good, especially if you're trying to focus on specific materials to level them up. Now, I think I only bought one because I actually didn't. Nope, I guess I didn't get to buy 3. Okay, my bad. But yeah, I don't think I actually ended up using the Rune Armlets. I think I used the diamonds. And I just went to chat with the employees here. But again, there just isn't a whole lot that you can do right here, or for the time being. Again, I really just came here to buy the pieces of armor. And they do talk a little bit about the sleeping quarters, but we are not able to do anything here for quite some time yet. And then this ends up being a dead end. I think even if you try to continue on, you're essentially just stuck in that screen right there. And I think it repeats over and over. So don't expect to make any headway here. But now that we've got the Tiny Bronco, I'm going to learn a couple of the new enemy skills. So that'll be the next part of the video here. And some kind of interesting ones. So let's head... Okay, and I have no idea where I'm at right now. I think this is actually, in order to continue on, this should be like I would say the western edge of the map. And then obviously this is like the coastal, this is a coastal area. And so you'll get into these battles with the Adamantoids or something like that. I think that's the name of this guy. Now, you can steal from them for the Adamant Bangle or something like that. It's got pretty decent defensive capabilities, but I believe, if I remember correctly, it's only got 2 slots for materia. So, just based off of that, I won't be using them at all. If you feel like you need, some really good defensive gear, then I could see making a case for having some of those. But again, I'm over leveled, so it just really doesn't matter. And but anyways, all right. So I'm gonna use. I've manipulated this enemy here, and now I'm using Death Force. If I remember correctly, Death Force prevents your characters from essentially being one-shot by death type abilities. That's if I remember that correctly. But yeah. Anyways, decent enemy skill. I would say that it is extremely situational, though, if it wasn't obvious. But yeah, so that's it for this guy. Alright, going for steel-bladed sword here. We'll see if this will one-shot this guy or not. That would be interesting if this actually worked, because this enemy is able to give us, or has casted... It did. Awesome. So it gave us instant death protection, but wasn't able to save itself. Womp womp. Oh well. Tough break for you, buddy. It's actually got 100. Is that 100 AP as well? It's not too bad. But yeah, so here we are. If you notice it, or if you need to know where we're at here, you can check the mini map. But essentially, here we're on the western area. This is the Wutai area. And so I just ran around the coastal areas trying to find the Adamantoids, and that's the Adamant Bangle. There you see it. It's got a really good defensive stat, but again, I don't know, only 2 materia slots, so that's not something that I will be getting a whole lot of use out of. And then here I just ran to this grassy area in order to fight, I believe, my next enemy. I guess this is... These ones don't matter. There's nothing fancy about these, but it's probably one of the next battles coming up here. So we'll run around the grassy area for a little bit to try to look for... actually, I don't remember the name of these next enemies. I think they look like little weeds, though. So we'll see here. Could this be it? Could this be it? Here they are. Alright, so what are these things called? Razor weeds. Okay. So, razor weeds have an ability called, I believe it's Magic Hammer. And it's amazing. There it is. So, Magic Hammer costs 3 MP, sorry. And will drain 100 MP from the target and restore the caster for that 100 AP, or sorry, MP, gosh. So, it can be pretty useful for restoring your magic. And especially if you are have an aversion to using consumables like I do for whatever reason. I'm a hoarder, I guess, when it comes to consumables. Actually, items in general, I'm kind of a hoarder. But anyways, you know, it's an okay way of restoring your MP. Again, though, it's only 100 MP, and as of right now, that's okay. But later on in the game, you know, 100 MP really isn't going to be all that impressive. But again, for right now, it's a pretty decent skill. I guess you could argue, you know, just the fact that it drains the MP from the target as well is kind of cool. I don't know how useful that actually is from a strategic standpoint. But anyways, all right, this is probably the most important part about this video. But now that the Tiny Bronco is available, you can finally speak with the blacksmith. And if you've got the mithril from the cave that I showed you guys a billion years ago, it's the cave to the north of, really to the north of, I guess it's probably directly north of Fort Condor, or fairly north. Anyways, or north of the forest that you obtain or can recruit Yuffie in. So anyways, stop into the cave. You know, if the last two numbers of your total battles are an odd number and they match, he will give you, the man inside there will wake up. He'll give you the mithril. And then if you take the mithril all the way back here to the blacksmith, and then eventually here we're going to head upstairs. This guy actually has got some info for you too on the keystone, which is essentially why I'm talking to him. Where is the temple? Oops. Oh, and by the way, so you actually have to, I believe you have to get, yeah, you have to talk to him about, what was that dialogue option there? I missed it. Let's see here. He said something about talk to you about a different subject, or let's change the subject, something like that. Anyways, that option will, there you go. Let's change the subject. If you pick that, he'll bring up mithril. And if you give him mithril, he'll let you open up one of his boxes here. If you open up that box upstairs and on the wall, he gives you the Great Gospel. That is Eris's final limit break. I highly recommend getting that. That limit break is, in my opinion, the best limit break in the entire game. Yeah, I know, Omni Slash is awesome, you know, and I'm sure there's some other really good ones, but I love Great Gospel. It restores your health and your MP fully and makes your characters invincible for a few turns. So, anyways, I gotta cut the commentary here, so I hope this guide was helpful, and as always, hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.